Grace never imagined love would find her again in the cereal aisle of a grocery store. At 38, love felt like something she had already lived, lost, and neatly packed away with old photographs and quiet lessons. She was a single mother, her world revolving around school schedules, grocery lists, and bedtime stories. Romance felt impractical, almost selfish. Then she collided with him. "Baby, I am so sorry," she said quickly, grabbing the cereal box that had fallen between them. "No, that was my fault," he replied, smiling apologetically. Something about his smile lingered. It wasn't charming in a careless way, but gentle, understanding. The kind that made you feel seen without even trying. "I'm Daniel," he added. "And I promise I'm usually more graceful." She laughed softly, surprised at herself. "Grace," she replied. Ironically, they talked for just a few minutes, nothing deep. Just polite conversation, but when they parted, Grace felt something unfamiliar stir inside her. A quiet curiosity. They met again 2 weeks later at the school pickup zone. Daniel was standing beside a small girl with bright eyes and tangled hair. Grace recognized him immediately. He recognized her too. "Well," he said, smiling that same gentle smile. "Looks like fate shops and parents at the same places." Their children became instant friends. And just like that, their lives began to overlap. Playdates turned into coffee. Coffee turned into long conversations while the kids played nearby. Daniel was a widower. Grace didn't ask how long ago, she didn't need to. She recognized the guarded sadness in his eyes because it mirrored her own. They never rushed. Both had lived lives that taught them patience. One evening, after the kids fell asleep during a movie night, Daniel stayed behind to help clean up. The house was quiet, warm with soft lights. "You have a beautiful home," he said. Grace shrugged. "It's peaceful." "That matters more to me now." He nodded. "Peace is underrated." They stood in the kitchen, close enough that she could feel his presence without touching. The silence wasn't awkward, it was heavy with awareness. "I didn't expect to feel this way again," Daniel said quietly. Her heart skipped. "Feel what?" "Hope," he replied. Grace swallowed. She turned to face him. "Neither did I." He stepped closer, hesitating just enough to give her time. When she didn't move away, he gently lifted his hand and brushed a strand of hair from her face. "May I?" he asked softly. She nodded. Their kiss was slow and careful, nothing rushed, nothing desperate. Just two adults discovering that love could still be tender. When they pulled apart, Grace rested her forehead against his, eyes closed. "I forgot how this feels," she whispered. "So did I," he replied. Their relationship grew quietly, built around school runs and shared dinners, bedtime routines and laughter echoing through the house. They learned each other's slowly strengths, fears, past wounds that still ached sometimes. There were nights they sat on the couch, Daniel's arm around her shoulders, Grace's head resting against his chest, both listening to the steady rhythm of a heart that had once been broken and was learning to trust again. The world didn't disappear. Responsibilities remained. Doubts crept in. One night, Grace pulled away after a kiss, her eyes distant. "What if this hurts our kids?" she asked. "What if we get it wrong?" Daniel took her hands gently. "Then we face it honestly. But loving carefully doesn't mean loving less." She leaned forward and kissed him again, this time, deeper, certain. His arms wrapped around her, grounding her fears. Months passed. Love settled into something warm and real. One evening, while watching their children laugh together in the backyard, Daniel spoke softly. "I never thought my life would look like this again." Grace smiled. "Neither did I." He kissed her under the fading sunset, slow, full, grateful. Sometimes love doesn't arrive loudly. Sometimes it finds you quietly, when you finally believe you deserve it again. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content. We'll see you in the next one.